All right. Well, thanks for joining today. My name's Scott Cuthbert. I'm a co-founder in Safeopedia and have the honor today of talking to Hewitt Roberts, who's the CEO of Certainty Software. Hewitt and Certainty have been longtime collaborators and partners with Safeopedia and Safety Connect. And so today we wanted to just sit down and learn a little bit more about Hewitt's background and a little bit about the origins of Certainty software and talk a little bit about where we're at today and what things look like in the not too distant future. So, Hewitt, glad to have you today. Why don't you take a minute and just introduce yourself and your background and then Certainty software.
For sure. So I'm Hewitt Roberts, CEO of Certainty Software and also co-founder like yourself. And Certainty's been around since 2010. And prior to Certainty, I ran and grew and sold another enterprise level software business called Entropy International. And it was involved in very similar things. So we know the safety, environmental, and quality management space well. And that's really where Certainty began.
Yeah, that's great. And is there just talking about the previous company and Certainty, is there anything in particular, industry wise or industry challenge wise that Certainty focuses on for customers?
Well, sort of the connection between the two goes back to one of Entropy's earlier customers, Kellogg, who, when we began Certainty, Certainty was the first Certainty product was a fleet management solution. And in that product, we had an OCR capability or tool that allowed businesses to digitize paper-based inspections. And Kellogg caught wind of what we were doing next with Certainty and wanted us to do the same for them for their safety observations globally. And so that was the birth of the Certainty product and platform as it is now for enterprise level audits and inspections and inspection management and corrective action management.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's always the good to have your finger on the pulse with your customers' requirements and exciting, right? When having had a software company myself, when a customer comes forward and says, "Hey, it looks like you could possibly solve this challenge for me, and let's look at it together and
Yeah.
go after it," right?
And one thing led to another. We still work with Kellogg and of course many other organizations like them on a global scale.
Yeah, and that was probably pretty good timing as well because that's probably early. I know that there's still a lot of paper-based companies out there, but that was probably at the time when people first started talking about automating or digitizing forms and workflows, right?
Yeah, well, and actually we still have customers that use the OCR capability of Certainty on the paper-based safety observation and quality observations and the digitization of those paper-based inputs.
Yeah. So how have you seen that change or evolve over the last 14 to 20 years, I guess it sounds like.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, we always felt that digitization was obviously digitization of paper-based inspections and audits was important for a lot of large businesses because they still used paper. But if we were able to do both, then we would naturally see a progression from paper to digital, and then the digital only option. But there's still a lot of big businesses out there that are maybe moved away from paper on its own, but working with spreadsheets and Google Docs and that sort of thing to manage safety audits and inspections even on a global scale.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and I know from recent surveys that have been done by different Verdantecs and, organizations like that, that there's still a large percentage of paper-based systems out there, like you say, spreadsheet and forms.
Yeah.
So just maybe on that note, for, any safety professional tuning in that might be in an organization that hasn't fully embraced technology, based on your experience, like what are some of the, objections that you can help, them overcome within their organizations?
I think change is always perhaps the biggest objection on its own. Like folks are pretty comfortable using Excel, and a lot of people we worked with spent, you know, perhaps hundreds of hours developing these, amazing spreadsheets with macros and reports and everything else like that. And so, changing from something like that is a challenge. But now, in the era of having to pay particular attention to IT and data security, cybersecurity, um, the macros and embedded functions within spreadsheets themselves now cause problems which are much larger than the problem they're trying to solve by using spreadsheets for safety inspections or quality inspections or even supply chain inspections. So the whole backdrop of IT and data security is forcing the move, certainly for larger organizations anyways, away from spreadsheets by virtue of IT and data security. And so, we've seen a much, I think, an easier uptake or easier transition or understanding of the need to transition and fewer objections from those that we work with in larger businesses because of the very serious IT and data security requirements that we all face now.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and probably something that safety professionals aren't necessarily thinking about on a daily basis, but would be a good justification to bring forward, within their organization. I know, just as you were talking about the spreadsheets, 100 of hours, worked. It was, you know, could give them credit partly for where the idea for Safeopedia came from, but worked for a big energy producer, and talked to their senior health and safety people, and they said that they spend 98% of their time, collecting data from all the contractors on the job site, in all these different spreadsheets, bringing them into their master spreadsheet, validating that, all the formulas are still working and the calculations are done correct. And then the remaining 2% of their time they spend presenting the findings, and very, very little time, boots on the ground in the field, making sure that, they're proactively managing safety. That was many, many years ago. Hopefully that's changed. But could you maybe talk a little bit about just the timing and the relevancy of information and that latency that exists in manual or spreadsheet-based systems?
Well, I mean, as you know, there are enterprise level reporting tools that have been around for quite some time, whether it's Crystal, Tableau, or Microsoft Power BI. And they're there to make those jobs easier. They're all amazing tools. They present information in amazing ways, but you still need to get that information. And that's really where the transition comes in. And tools like certainly allow for much easier data capture and collection, and thus you're able to more quickly and easily use those enterprise level reporting tools to get to the information that you need. And I suppose the flip side of that is making sure you're asking the right questions, or you're inspecting the right things, or you're ensuring that what you're doing is in fact improving safety.
Right. And so looking ahead a little bit, I know you guys have some exciting news to share with your existing customers, with prospective customers, probably the industry at large. And I know there's a IT tech, buzzword that's going around that you can't not talk about these days. So why don't you share with us what's next for Certainty Software?
Well, I suppose you're talking about AI and automation. It's upon us all now, and it has been for quite some time. But the scale and magnitude of change is alarming, if nothing else, but certainly phenomenal. And like any technology, AI can be used for very, very good things. Making massive advancements in medical field, or safety and security and supply chain compliance and all those things. But it, of course, can also be used for, nefarious things as well. And that's really up to us about how we use it. Shying away from it is certainly not the answer, and we won't be able to shy away from it. So we have chosen to adopt it because the inclusion of AI technology in the Certainty platform and elsewhere, it can be used to improve the productivity and performance of people and businesses. There's just no doubt about that. So, that's the good side. We've embraced it because of that. The technologies or the features that we've included as a first round, so Certainty Vision and Insights, they add tremendous value to the Certainty platform and our customers that use it. The vision solution is a feature whereby if an auditor or safety, inspector adds photos, images, or documents to a safety inspection, whether it's a behavioral-based safety observation or a facility safety inspection, or even an ISO 45,000 audit, the vision feature opens the documents, the images, the photos, anything that's attached, and actually answers the inspection or the audit automatically for the inspector or auditor, and provides both a substantiation for why they've answered the question in the way that they have, or the way it has, as well as providing a confidence score for the answer that has been provided. So it speeds the process of completing an audit, and that's everything from a 10 or 15 minute behavioral-based safety observation all the way through to a multi-day ISO audit. So it saves time, it improves the accuracy of the end result. And then the Insights feature is exactly that. It's a prompt-based, effectively custom report that you can generate in Certainty from the completed audit or an inspection. And so you can prompt it for whatever you want. Give me an executive summary of this ISO audit, or give me 5 recommendations for corrective actions in this completed behavioral-based safety observation, or give me an overall score of 1 to 10 on this facility safety inspection. Highlight areas that are of risk. Give me a risk summary of the entire audit. And again, it automatically provides this report, and you can modify the prompts to change the information that's provided to you. And so it automatically, once you've completed the audit or the inspection, it will automatically give you insights that help you as a safety manager or a compliance manager or a risk manager do your job better and faster. And it'll highlight areas that you need to look into if there are perhaps concerns or risks or anomalies. And as I say, it's configurable. You can get it to tell you what you want to know. So again, not taking advantage of a feature or technology like that is going to put you on the back foot or behind those that do. And these features in Certainty allow our customers to take advantage of AI in their safety management practices, or their risk management practices, or their compliance management practices.
Yeah, that's fascinating and really empowering, technology and obviously using it to assist and speed up process and help move things through probably a little quicker, than and no, everybody. I shouldn't say everybody, but I think most of us, struggle with writing reports or summarizing lots of information into those executive sort of briefings. So definitely, if you've used something like Chat GPT in the past to condense and pull out those bullet points, you'll know how powerful it can be for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if, like, I mean, we were having a conversation this morning about the changing demographics in the workplace, and obviously, um, the younger generations are always more technically advanced than us folks with gray hair. And do you see this helping to um, you know, make an employer, a more appealing place to work for the younger workforce as as the boomers and the Xers kind of move into their twilight years.
Well, I mean, there's so many pieces to that question. You know, on the one hand, if AI and automation technology is used properly in the safety management functions, it'll make the workplace safer for all. So right there, it's a better place to work. The other side of it is that it will allow, you know, the safety professionals to improve their own productivity and actually probably spend more time improving safety than documenting the lack of or what's happening in a workplace. So I think it'll allow, you know, professionals to actually roll their sleeves up more than they perhaps have and actually make sure that the things that they know they now need to do are being done.
Yeah, that's great points, and definitely a couple layers to that question. So given kind of where you guys are at, in the trenches with your customers, looking forward, from where technology is going and where it's taking us, what do you see, maybe some big items, on the horizon for technology for safety professionals, coming down in the next, like I say, 3 or 4 years.
Well, I don't think it's 3 or 4 years. That's the problem. I think
Yeah.
it can be a lot shorter than that. And as I say, you know, this technology will be embraced by those that want to embrace it, and those that don't will be left behind in many, many ways. One thing is for sure is that it's going to increase the ability for organizations to automate processes, any sort of business management process. And in the case of safety management, it's no different, you know, and where our next release adds more automation features to the Certainty platform such that you can get, you know, you can have a safety inspection completed automatically, you know, through a feed from a CCTV camera, or, you know, the transfer of a satellite image into an SFTP folder, or, you know, links from other APIs that are feeding data into safety management platforms like Certainty that then automate the initiation and completion and insights for a safety audit. And then that triggers business process workflows such as notifications and emails and automated corrective actions. So you're going to see much more automation in the safety management field in the workplace, and obviously in higher risk workplaces, such that you won't have to have people going around all the time to look for something that's not right, or identify issues for corrective action. Lots of that is going to be automated. Not everything, of course, but lots can be. And that technology is here now.
So if that sounds a little bit overwhelming or intimidating for, some folks out there, what kind of process? Like I know, I guess from my experience working with you, you're very, you want to be solution focused, education and help people out. So if you're in the organization, maybe you're an influencer or decision maker when it comes to the safety programs. You're not sure what the next step should be. And like I say, it sounds a little bit intimidating or overwhelming. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the process you'd help people walk through, to make sure that they're making the right decision, whether it's certainty or maybe something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky thing. I mean, as we've noticed, and as I'm sure everyone knows, you know, there is resistance to this. So I think a lot of it's an educational and awareness hurdle. But, you know, if you are willing to, you know, contemplate adopting technologies that improve your performance and your business's performance, you know, then platforms like ours will allow you to do so. We provide the AI tools, the automation features in Certainty are optional, so you don't have to use them if you don't want, but you can try them if you want. So it's something that you can see for yourself. Is this going to reduce the time of doing safety audits? Is this going to improve the accuracy of the information we collect? Is this going to improve overall safety in our business, in our workplaces? These are all things that you can try now. and relatively easily. It's not necessarily a huge commitment to get involved and see how these technologies can improve your job, your business, your performance, and reduce risk, improve safety across an operation.
Great. So you did mention Kellogg, talked a little bit about them. Just to make sure anybody listening understands the breadth of customers and industries that you guys can support and address. Maybe give us a little bit of an overview of small to large and industry sectors.
Yeah, so Certainty has customers in just about every sector of the economy. The Certainty platform is used now by about 175,000 professionals around the world to complete about 6 million audits and inspections annually. We work with large and small organizations, but lots of brand names. Kellogg, as I mentioned, Nissan, Mondelez, International Paper, Huntsman Chemical, Chevron in Europe, and lots of other large organizations around the world. We also have lots of smaller customers. That 1 or 10 users that use Certainty just as well as others. So there's lots of use cases. Certainty is used for safety management. It's used for quality audits, quality control, process control. It's used increasingly now for supplier and supply chain compliance in relation to sustainability and corporate due diligence throughout supply chains. So anywhere where you have enterprise level audit, inspection, data collection, reporting, and corrective action management business process, Certainty works perfectly well.
That's great. So if somebody wants to reach out, learn a little bit more, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Oh, head to our website, certaintysoftware.com. It's all there.
All right. Well, we'll definitely have a link for that in the description. And can they request a demo or a sales call? What would be the
Yeah,
best?
absolutely. There's lots of buttons for that sort of thing. Request a demo, contact us. There's obviously a blog section, lots of sort of self-help information and videos. Yeah, and happy to help if we can, and pretty quick to say if we can't. So
Yeah,
we don't say no.
yeah, yeah. That's great. I'm so glad you could join today, and we could have this discussion. Like I said, we've been working with Hewitt and his team at Certainty for quite a while, and I know that you'd be if you're at the stage where you're contemplating it and you want to reach out and learn more, you'd be in good hands, safe hands, with Hewitt, and like he mentioned, he's not going to try to sell you something that doesn't fit for your organization or even from a timing perspective of where you might be at in that decision process. So definitely encourage you to reach out, start to educate yourself, build some awareness, because I think that the point you made about companies who embrace technologies will be the ones that survive. I believe the safety professionals that embrace technology, learning it, understanding it, will be the ones that they get those promotions, that have those opportunities to advance, and will be employable, well into the future. Whereas if you resist, there's going to be fewer and fewer places for those types of folks, unfortunately.
Yeah, and thank you so much for inviting us to join you today. And as mentioned, if there's people out there that want to see if they can take advantage of AI in their safety management practices, then there's lots of information on our website. More than happy to work with them. We do offer a proof of concept project. There's more on our website about that, but happy to help if we can. And it's a journey, and we're all at the beginning of it.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks so much. And please reach out to Hewitt and his team to learn more. Thanks so much.
Thank you.